Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to today's video. Today we'll be talking about how to become more assertive and how to do it. Before I start, I want to let you know that becoming assertive is going to be a very difficult task if you've never really done it before. You're going to deal with a lot of anxiety, social anxiety, guilt, shame, all these feelings. You might be met with disgust from yourself or your peers. But the easiest way to become more assertive is start by saying no. The word no. You have to become more disagreeable. And this is almost like the opposite of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, I believe, because you're doing the complete opposite. Being a people pleaser is something inherent to the way we are brought up, right? It's listen to people, go with the flow. Unless like you are on the spectrum or don't get social dynamics, it's a difficult thing, but most of us struggle with being a nice person and being a people pleaser and not really putting our foot down. So this video is for you. So by disagreeing, it sounds so simple. Like, why don't you saying yes would be the better way. It's like, no, you need to stop agreeing with people, stop agreeing with their points of view, doing favors, and start letting your opinion out. And by letting your opinion out, you start with the word no. For example, if people say, hey, do you mind doing something for me? Instead of saying, yeah, what is it? Because you want to be kind and meet this, persona of being a kind, helpful person at work. By saying no, you're saying, no, I value my time. Most people are like, whoa, I'm not expecting that from you, man. You might be ashamed for it because a lot of people probably used you because you were just free. You were a doorstep. I'm not saying to not be a nice person, not be a good person. Help people out when it makes sense, right? If your mom is sick and she needs help because you need to drive her to a doctor's appointment, take her. But I'm saying to the extent of if it's ruining your life or degrading your life, put your foot down and reinforce boundaries. It's always funny when people ask me, hey, can you do me a favor? My immediate answer is never yes. It's like, depends what it is, or it's a flat out no. And while that may sound rude, it's like I have stuff to do. And this works because people know I'm generally a really good person and I go above and beyond. But when I say no, it's because Mint's busy. And self-esteem comes from the idea of I generally know who I am and I'm kind of secure in that. And obviously, we do all have insecurities. We all do. But I try to minimize that and try to just live life going forward. But by having a strong community of friends and family and having a great spouse, I have an idea of who I am, what I stand for. And I'm thankfully in a position of abundance where like I have my core group of friends and I don't need to continually please people. And that's something you have to recognize. It's difficult to be yourself when you don't have a community and if you're just by yourself, because if you're just continually by yourself, you inherently kind of have to be people please, especially if you're lonely. Because if you're lonely, you want to make friends, you want to make relationships, and you have to kind of give up who you are. But if you have a really strong, abundant friend group or social life, you can kind of start being a little more assertive to begin with because you don't care. You have nothing to lose, especially if you have enough friends. I'm in a position where like I have my 5 good buddies. Don't really need more than that. Why is it so hard to find really high quality people to become your friends? The thing is, really good people have really strong boundaries. It's hard to find them. Usually they have enough friends and they're not actively searching for them. They're kind, but they're busy with their current friend group because we can't give all our time in building new friendships and relationships while you have to maintain some of them. And some people are happy with that. And I'm not saying you're opposed to becoming friends with people, but it's like, if you're really scarce in time, have a good group, you're happy with that, like that makes sense because we can't give time. How do you maintain the things that you have already? It's like take care of the things that take care of you. And disagreeing is a very difficult thing because you've been bred to say yes. Asians, we struggle with self-esteem because we were always taught by our parents to obey and be a helpful neighbor because we grew up in a collectivist culture. But moving to the Western world and individualistic culture, it's difficult to kind of deviate from that, find your own way, find your own path. And by disagreeing, it's going to be very uncomfortable. Just start saying no. If you're busy on Friday night or want to stay in, and your friends ask you to go out clubbing, it's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay home, right? And they might say, dude, come on, man. You're so lazy. You got to deal with that. You got to get past that. Eventually, you're going to voice your opinion. You're going to voice your opinion and your thoughts. So if someone says something you don't just agree with, especially if it's political, like you can actually just put your foot down and be like, yeah, I actually disagree with that, at the extent that you want to give. But if you're tired of just being silent, like you'll start finding this like rage or energy being built up where you have to find a release to be like, yeah, I need to get this out there and I'm tired of not voicing my opinion. And people will say, wow, man, or whoever you are, like, oh, you used to be so quiet. Now you're so dominant, right? But it's because you're growing up to believe in yourself. And that's a beautiful thing. And it leads to my next subject of like, you probably won't be rewarded in the short term by being assertive. Okay? Assertion, boundaries, People don't like that. They want you to be that easygoing person that doesn't have an agenda or schedule and that's always there for them. But you take that away and then people are saying, I don't like the new you. I like the old you. But you just did what I said. So realize that you're becoming more of a empowered individual, but realize that some of your friendships and relationships that you probably built are based on the idea that you're just always available. If you're always available, this even goes into dating. It's extremely unattractive because it's like, dude, do you not have stuff to do? Okay. It's like when a girl you like, you reach out to her and she's like, hey, do you want to hang out? And you're like, yeah, of course. I'll drop everything down for you. It's like, dude, someone message me on the spot. It's like, hey, do you want to get drinks tonight? Unless it's a rare night where I'm not doing anything. It's like, usually the answer is no, I already have plans. And if you're always available, some girl texts you and you're texting back a second later, it's like, yo, do you have a job? Do you have hobbies? For myself, I take a long time to respond, not because I'm being a dick, but because I'm busy and I don't like being on my phone continuously. Like I text to make plans. Like texting for me is the logistics. It's like, how do we meet up? Where do you want to go? Or I just pick up a phone and call you for a couple minutes and just get it done. I hate having conversations over text, in my opinion. And I know that early on in the dating scene, you do have to text and stuff like that eventually. If you're meeting people in person, you start there and your great initial impression will carry over. And texting is just there to set up the next date. Or if you have to, you can call them and catch up for like a short bit. You don't give everything away. Leave stuff for the conversation when you meet them. And then you set up like, hey, what are your plans on Friday? I'll pick you up here, and you hang up, done. Or you can text after a day and say, hey, I had a great time. Hope you did too. Have a good night, blah, blah, blah. You can find your own words. And the thing is, you don't have to come with the sexiest text because if you're attractive, they're attracted to you emotionally, okay, as well as physically, and they find the conversation stimulating. You can say, quote unquote, very boring things via text and it doesn't really matter. Versus if you're really boring in person and trying to come up with this really creative text, there's a discrepancy between the way you're portraying yourself and the way you're acting. So realize that. So the idea of boundaries. Yes, you need to start doing it because it'll serve you well. And your ability to say even no to a girl you're dating, a girl you like, or to your wife is actually incredibly powerful because most men can't say no to women because we pedestalize them. I'm not saying you should always say no to be a dick, but truly, like sometimes like if it's inconvenient, like, hey, no, baby, really don't want to go there. I really don't like that food. Or, hey, do you like a shirt? And you're like, I really don't. I'd prefer if you change into this because that's phenomenal. That color looks amazing with your skin tone, blah, blah, blah. You see my point. Women like a man who can say no to them because what is that portraying? That's portraying power. That's portraying dominance. That's portraying high self-esteem, belief in yourself. To say no to a girl, if you really think about it, that's portraying the abundance mentality. Because if you're in a scarcity mentality, you're saying, I don't want to say no because I'm being seen as disagreeable. I'm going to lose this girl because I should be continually a people pleaser and not voice my opinion because she might leave me. Versus if you're saying no to someone, you're saying, I'm okay with the risk of you leaving. Right? Even if you're in the initial dating scene, you're getting to know someone says something that's very unpleasant, you disagree, and you voice your opinion, like, what are you doing? You're putting yourself in a risky territory because it's saying this could lead to escalation of a verbal fight. She can get angry and leave or block me and this date's over. But that's the abundance mentality. I'm not saying to go out of your way to just be disagreeable, but if it's genuine things that you do not like, voice it. Start saying no. These are all important things, and it goes above just dating. This goes into your career, the way you interact with your friend groups, with your family, these dynamics, because the ability to be disagreeable will serve you well because you can be honest. You can start being honest with the things that bother you in your life. This will give you the strength to approach people who have bullied you, put you down, emotionally abused you, whatever it is, right? You can go to your parents and voice your opinions and be like, hey, I didn't like the way you treated me as a child or the way you're treating me now. I'm a grown adult. You got to stop treating me as a child. These are things I hear all the time during my consultation process. And it's like, you have to put your foot down, right? You have to be honest because it'll allow you to rebuild the relationship with the person you're involving and with yourself. It's the things that you held back and grinded your teeth, and now you're in a position of power to voice your opinion. This is so important if you want any relationships or friendships to thrive. Honesty is a foundation, but it's really difficult and it's painful because you have to do a lot of work within yourself. You have to be okay with letting the other person down because this is your life. Realize that in this lifetime, everyone will disappoint you. And you will disappoint others. But that's okay. That's what love is. Love carries you over. If you try your best to not disappoint others, you will inevitably fail and will disappoint them. So you might as well be honest and have it on your own terms versus theirs. I genuinely hope you guys enjoyed this video. I like this topic. I'm very fired up from it. If you want to talk about it further, please email me and book a consultation. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram, see what I'm up to. As always, peace out, namaste.